Okay, all right. You landed on Island 49. I'm your host, Weston Smith. It's week 2 of the 2023 NFL season, and we are live, baby. It is Rams week. We are roughly 18 hours away from kickoff down in Levi South. I'm going to run the intro. I'm going to come back. I'm going to look for some of your questions and comments, and I'm going to start to talk about what I'm looking for and looking forward to in this game. Like I said, that's 18 hours away. We'll be right back. All right. Week 2, baby. 49ers 1-0 after a good showing on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. We continue to be on the road, I guess, as far as the schedule is concerned, but as it is affectionately become known down in LA as Levi South. So what are we looking out for in this game, or what comes top of mind when I think about when the 49ers tackle division rival, the Los Angeles Rams? So let's state some of the obvious. Over the last 9 matchups, the 49ers have won 8 of those. The lost was in the NFC Championship game, obviously, 2 years ago. They have won 8 consecutive regular season matchups against the Los Angeles Rams. So it's the Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay show, as it's become known as of late. So that's a pretty impressive streak, right? 8 consecutive regular season wins against a team. You don't often hear that in the NFL. And if you've listened to me on the We're Talking Football podcast, every time this matchup happens, I grow concerned, because if Sean McVay is a very competent coach sitting on the opposite sideline, has a Super Bowl to his name. Kyle Shanahan does not, right? So Super Bowl, they have the Super Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl win to his name. Kyle's got the single appearance. So it's difficult to beat a team 9 consecutive times in the regular season. You don't often hear about that. And I think what grows or creates more concern, at least from my perspective, is that this game is really early in the season. So it's hard for me not to believe that Sean is not out there coaching up this team for this game. Expectations were really low based on the Rams' performance last season coming into this season. So statement game, statement opportunity for McVay. They went in and beat Seattle last week, right? So now 1-0. Now they have the opportunity to say, I want to make a statement win. I want to start the season 2-0. So I fully expect the Rams to be up for this game. Will it matter? I don't know. Remains to be seen. That's why they play the game, right? That's why it's not a Madden simulation. So I always get concerned when we play a division opponent, because you see them twice a year, and these are familiar faces, right? Like we know what the Rams want to accomplish in order to be successful in this game, and the Rams know what we want to accomplish in order to be successful in this game. So let's talk about what some of the advantages might be for the 49ers in this particular instance. 1, Sean McVay is not coached against Brock Purdy yet, right? Okay, that's nice. 2, he's not played against Brock Purdy and the combination of Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel on the field at the same time. So have we seen that yet? No. And Deebo traditionally has done quite well in those performances against the Los Angeles Rams, right? We've seen all the memes about Aaron Donald and not knowing who Deebo was, and then everything that, coincides with that. So exciting times. Well, I'm going to take a moment here. If you're joining live, go ahead, throw the comments in. We want to make sure that I'm answering any of your questions. This is an open dialogue show. Otherwise, you're going to hear me talk about my opinion on this game for the next 10, 15 minutes or so. We won't be here too long. Just want to get my thoughts out on a Saturday evening while I'm sipping a little vino. I got the Dion game Colorado versus Colorado State on DVR. So once we finish up here, I'll go start that and watch the former 49er legend, one year of the 49er legend. So what does each team need to accomplish to be successful? I think you're going to see the Rams come out and try to run the football. Now, that might sound a little funny considering last week against Seattle, they ran the ball 40 times for 92 yards at a 2.3 yard average per carry. That is not a successful running game, but yet they won the game, right? But I think they're going to want to come and try to establish the run. If they can establish the run, that's going to keep pressure off Matthew Stafford. That's going to allow him to find probably some open guys down the field. Now, I know Cooper Kupp is not playing in this game. That's a big difference between some of the last few matchups against the Rams. Kupp is not going to be suiting up for action. Puka Nacua is a little banged up, but by all accounts, he's going to lace him up and be ready to go for tomorrow's game. So we'll see what that looks like. But I think the Rams are going to try to run the football and establish the run early. And if we can take that away from them, I think we're going to be in a really good position to just pin the ears back, go get Stafford, create pressure, put him in inopportune spots. And, maybe the defense looks a little opportunistic, picks off a pass here or there, strip sack, fumble. Maybe Bosa gets on the stat line from a sack perspective. Maybe Drake Jackson keeps it up. Maybe Armstead and Hargrave reach home, right? I think there's going to be an opportunity to get after number 9 for sure. Now, on the 49er side, again, I would expect to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey, but more. I know Ayuk had this game last week, right? But we didn't see a lot of Debo. You saw them try to get Debo involved immediately, like on that first drive, and that seemed to fade off a little bit. I would fully expect, just given his success against the Rams over the last few years, that they will make a pretty solid effort to keep Debo consistently involved in this game, keep his head right, keep his mentals right, get him the ball, playmaker. So I don't really feel like we saw any jet sweeps or anything kind of super creative last week against Pittsburgh. So look for Kyle to get in his bag a little bit more, probably get Debo the ball out of the backfield, etc. But that's it. I don't think there's anything crazy that's going into this game. Like I said earlier, they each know what they're trying to accomplish. Who's going to be able to play their brand of winning football? I do fully expect that to be the 49ers, by the way, and that's not a homer pick. I just think on paper, they are right now a superior team. The outlier here, though, number 99, Aaron McDonald. The other outlier is number 60, Daniel Brunskill, is no longer on this team, who always, for whatever reason, had his best games against Aaron Donald and the Los Angeles Rams. It's fair to critique and say that right side of the line between Spencer Burford and Colton McKivitz was pretty shaky last week. And I know it was against, at least from Colton's perspective, it was against TJ Watt, a premier pass rusher in this league, but that's exactly what Aaron Donald is. A perennial All-Pro, a perennial MVP of this league, or Defensive Player of the Year. Fully expect for him to be lined up facing that right side of the line and just wreaking havoc. Can you scheme around it? Can you get, can we lean on the left side of that line? Is that where a lot of the play calls are going to go? Or are you going to go right at Donald? Sometimes, in my experience, the best way to take him out of the game was to go right at him. Let him blow up field, counter right in behind him, pull a guard, kick him out, come right up the middle and open the field. So we'll see. We'll see what this looks like. By no means is any division game an easy win, but I want to get your all's thoughts, right? Like, what else are you thinking about in this particular game? As far as the 49ers go, it's a pretty clean sheet in terms of health. I know Samuel Womack just went to the short-term IR. Dre Greenlaw expected to suit up, expected to play. So what's that going to look, it bodes well for us so far going into week 2 and going on the road. But also keep in mind that we have a short week, right? Home opener is Thursday night against the Giants to follow up this game. So what's that going to look like, right? Depending upon this game flow, are you going to, I don't want to say rest players, but are you going to lighten the workload just a little bit to ensure that they're healthy and ready to play come Thursday night, come home opener, right? When the faithful is going to be out, ready to go and really ready to kick off this 2023 season at actual Levi, not Levi South. But I don't know. I think it's all about, in this league, it's all about winning the game that is in front of you and doing whatever it takes to win that game. And then whatever happens during that game, you deal with leading up to the subsequent weeks. But I think this gets in coaches' minds, right? When you think about, okay, I have a Thursday night game following a Sunday game. What's this going to look like, right? Like, hopefully it goes well. If it looks like the Pittsburgh game, then that is going to be the opportune time to, I don't want to say take the foot off the gas, but like, maybe we work Elijah Mitchell into this running game a little bit more. Maybe you're working Jordan Mason into the running game a little bit more to keep McCaffrey fresh for, I know the Cowboys mopped up the Giants the week previous, but they're still a formidable opponent that is coming fresh off a playoff appearance in their first year under Brian Daboll. But again, tell me more about what you're looking for in this 49ers Rams matchup. I'll recap. For me, I think the Rams are going to come out and try to establish the run. I don't think they want to get into just airing the ball out right away with no Cooper Kupp and minus a couple weapons and just letting the defensive line feast. I think they're going to want to try to keep them honest as possible. And the only way to do that is in the screen game and in the run game. So expect to see a lot of that early. I think the 49ers are just going to come out and play their brand of football. I think in that first 15 from Kyle, you'll see a jet sweep or two. You'll see a bubble screen or two, right? And then you're going to let Brock Purdy kind of dictate the way that this offense goes, but you're going to see a heavy dose of number 23 and Christian McCaffrey. The offense has been running through him the moment that he joined us. Let's just say post that Kansas City game, right? Because that was his first week here. That wasn't fair. He was here like 2 days before the game and still got plenty of work. But I think, the 49ers, when they're at their best, they're establishing the run, and then they're able just to pick apart that defense, over the middle. But I do think it's important to note that Sean McVay has not had to coach against a Brock Purdy-led team yet, right? He's seen McCaffrey. He's seen Debo. Has he seen them both together? Not yet. So I think that still gives us the competitive advantage. So what does that mean? I'm going to scheme to try to take away McCaffrey. I'm going to try to take away Debo. So based on that, like, is Ayuk going to eat again, right? Is Kittle going to have himself a game? I don't think so. I think it's going to take Kittle a little while, just like we saw last year, right? Like he had a ridiculous second half of the season. More importantly, once Brock came in, but he is so integral to the run game, and that right side is at a huge deficit right now, just based on tape in week 1. I think you're going to see Kittle and Juice giving a lot of support to that right side, especially if we see 99 line up across from Burford, or even get into a little bit of a wider technique on McKivitz. I don't expect that. I expect them to stay straight up in the middle. A lot of stunts, maybe putting them on, on 68 Colton. So I don't, it's up to me. So we got Scott here, said Mason's in the doghouse. I knew when we saw that goal line fumble in preseason, we wouldn't see him play unless someone gets injured. Scott, I can't disagree with you. I mean, players just continuously seem to find themselves in Kyle's doghouse. And it doesn't tend to be like this negative thing. I think when they come out of the doghouse, they're playing their best brand of football. We're seeing that with Ayuk, right? For an entire year, we felt like this guy sat in the doghouse, and then look at him just balling out. I think it's part of the maturation for Mason. Yeah, that fumble did hurt on the goal line, but he'll earn Kyle's trust back. He's going to have to do that through pass pro, right? He's going to have to pass protect. He's going to have to get an opportunity to pass protect. It can't just be in garbage time. But if we're in a state where the 49ers need to lay the hammer down, right, and just run out this clock, just killing the fourth quarter, whatever it might be, just trying to eat away, then for me, I think Mason needs to find the field. You got to give this kid opportunities. He's a hammer. He just lays into him. He just takes the will of some of these players. He plays a much different brand of football than McCaffrey does, for sure. So, but I agree, right? Like no coach likes when their player puts the ball on the carpet, especially when it's at the goal line and it takes points away. But I won't just fully throw him in the doghouse just yet. I'll say this also is, week one just looked a little bit different, right? That game, while it felt like it was securely tucked away by the 49ers, there were moments where it felt like, the outcome was hanging in the balance just a little bit. And then the ghosts of Christmas past crept up on Kyle. He referenced himself that that opener against Detroit. I'm going to reference the Super Bowl. Nobody can forget that 28-3. That's all I'm going to say. And how, you'd let your foot off the gas, it might come back and bite you, but I think you have to do it in phases, and you have to do it with players you're confident in, and hopefully confidence in Jordan Mason is not entirely lost. But that's it. I think I'm being redundant, and I'm sorry I'm being redundant, but I think we know what to expect from this matchup, but it will come down to who establishes their brand of football early, and that's going to dictate the game. If we can hold the Rams to a 2.3 yard per rush average, that bodes really, really well for you. If you can keep them under, sub 3 yards per carry, that's the recipe for success for the 49ers, because they have an entirely different caliber of defensive line than the Seattle Seahawks did, a week ago for the Rams as their opponent. And they'll eat. The 49ers will eat. The big thing here is, are you going to let Aaron Donald disrupt this game? And can he disrupt it enough to influence the outcome? We've seen him do that, right? We have seen him do that, but we have also, in recent history, seen him not really show up in the stat line, not really show up or have his name mentioned across the broadcast, unless it's like, hey, we haven't called 99's name as of late. And even when he's had his moment to shine, it hasn't truly influenced the game. So I'm anxious, just like you all are, I'm sure. I appreciate you all logging in. Scott, thank you for the comment. Keep them coming. We're going to do this prior to every game. So in this coming week, obviously we have a Thursday night game. Expect me to pop on here some point at Wednesday. I'm going to plug Steph's show on 49 Carats. Her and I will recap this game Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely look forward to you tuning in, and hopefully we're all smiles, sunshine, and rainbows like we were coming out of last week. But it is Rams week. It is time. Faithful, I can't wait to see all that red down in Levi South, especially since, rumor has it that the Rams are going to wear all blue. So that's just going to make the red stand out tremendously. So I can't wait to see how the faithful turns up for that game. But that's it. Looking forward. This is Island 49. I'm your host, Weston Smith. We're going to do this week to week. You're going to see me from time to time, especially breaking news, things of that nature. I know you guys have so many show choices. Give it a listen. I promise you will not be disappointed. Tell your friends. That's from a local radio show here out on the East Coast. If you're not from the East Coast, I apologize, but a well-known sports radio show out this way. That's what he would always say. But I'm gonna leave the same way that we came in. I'm gonna hit you with the outro versus the intro. But appreciate you tuning in.